there, Steve again with T-Way Outdoors, here to give you another quick tip video. I'm going to be talking about bicycling here today. So I know we have some other videos that highlight some great tips, just a general overview with bike safety, riding around and all that. So today I want to talk specifically about what I consider to be an essential skill, because I actually got a flat tire today. I've been in situations where I've seen people that don't know what they're doing. They don't have tools that they need to take care of it. I think changing a bike tire is a lot easier than changing a car tire. So again, just one of the other many benefits. It's something that can happen pretty common. So let me see where it's actually at here on the bike. But yeah, so I actually have what we call a pinch flat. So what I did, because I was rushing around a little bit this morning, was I actually didn't make sure that my inner tube, which I'm going to take this off and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, wasn't fully underneath the bead of my tire. So as I was inflating, I wasn't really paying much attention, and I heard a kind of a scary pop, and that's what this is. So this is something that can happen. That's why we want to take our time, be really precise with what we're doing. I might run over something on my ride, that sort of thing, especially if I'm using a thinner tire like this. These are really designed more for racing. For casual riding, I might use a little bit heftier of a tire with more of a tread pattern, but both of these tires, this is kind of my race setup right here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to be prepared for a flat. So I have a nice saddlebag here. And inside my saddlebag, I have these plastic tire levers, which we're going to play with. I always have two. If you get really good, you can do it with just one, but I like to do it with two, because especially if I'm like in the middle of a long ride, I don't want to be worried about that. And then I also have my extra inner tube, and I have a second inner tube as well. So the reason I have two inner tubes is I might mess up like I did here. I might actually run over something really sharp, hit both tires. I might get a second flat. I actually was in a situation where I was doing a race one time, and somebody that was about to do the ride with me got a flat. I gave them my extra inner tube, and then I ended up getting a flat in the race. So that wasn't good. So, and then the other thing I have here, these are little CO2 cartridges. So this is a quick inflate option that I like to do. Obviously not as sustainable, but it gives you a little faster boost and it saves some energy. A lot of people will have a hand pump, which this takes a lot more work to do. It's also a lot bulkier. So oftentimes there's an attachment that you can put on your down tube, something like that to have there. For the purposes of this demo, I'm going to use my floor pump that I have at home ready to do so. So I'm going to flip my bike upside down. I have a caliper brake on this specific bike here. So I want to open up the brake calipers so I can get the tire out pretty well. If you notice, I shifted down, or I actually technically shifted up. So I'm on the third cog here on my gear set, and then I'm in a lower gear set in my top range here. So that way I can take my tire out pretty easily and also work it. I have a lever here. I'm gonna twist this open. Depending on your bike, you might need a wrench for this. So I have another bike that's more my commuter bike, and in that saddlebag I do have a wrench, so I can open that up. So make sure you know what you need to take care of your bike on the fly, and definitely practice this skill at home before you get out on a ride and you're stressed out about it happening. So this is the derailleur. So it's a fun word to say. This is what changes your gear set in the back. So I'm going to push this up a little bit so I can get it out. Some people do actually bring gloves in their kit, because you can get grease on your fingers, because the chain can get kind of gross. But I cleaned my chain ahead of time, so I don't have much grossness here. So yeah, this tire is pretty well deflated. So this here is the stem that goes into my inner tube. This specific model is a Presta valve. So there's two different kinds. There's a Presta and a Schrader. So you also want to make sure you know what wheel you have. That's going to dictate what kind of valve or stem you need for your inner tube when you change your tire. So I'm going to take my tire levers here. So I'm going to leverage this underneath, and then I'm going to find a spoke, and I can kind of trying to make this visible for you. I had a minor injury this morning, so I apologize for the blood. And then once I get this first one in here, I'm going to take my second one, and I can kind of work my way underneath. So I want to make sure I get under the bead of the tire, which is that rigid support here, and then I can use my lever to work my way all the way around. You can see that loosened up, so it knocked my second lever off here. Perfect. So, and if you notice, what I do here is I always make sure, oftentimes your tire is going to have branding or the name, whatever that tire is. I always have a pretty clear indicator on my tire where my stem's at. So that way, in case I get like a nail, a piece of glass, something like that embedded, I know kind of where it's at in the tire. I can actually look at the inner tube to see where the flat was. So I don't have to take the entire tire off if I don't need to. Also, another thing you might need to do is you might need to run your hands underneath the tire. That helps minimize the risk of getting that object embedded in your finger itself. So I'm going to pull this back, pull my inner tube out of the tire. It really doesn't want to come out. And I'm going to check. So yeah, like I mentioned, this is a pinch flat, so there's probably nothing in my tire that I need to be concerned about. I might just run my fingers around just to make sure, because I don't want to puncture another inner tube. Okay, yeah, so it feels pretty good. Nothing in there. Gonna leave my tire in place. I'm gonna take my brand new inner tube here.